You're listening to Ideal Practice, episode number 136. Hey guys, I'm back. I thought today I might give you a little update on how things are going around here at Ideal Practice, where the heck I have been for the last few weeks, where we are headed from here, and how in the world we're going to keep our practice going and keep our sanity in a year that feels like it's getting off to a bit of a rocky start, at least here in the U.S. Yeah, so lots of little things to talk about today that I hope will be helpful to you. By the way, hi. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Wendy Pitts Reeves, and with over 2 decades of experience in the private practice world, I've built my 6-figure business while learning a lot of lessons the hard way. This is the first podcast that shows you how to apply the principles of energy, alignment, and strategy to build a practice that is profit-centered, but people-forward. This is the Ideal Practice Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Wendy Pitts Reeves, your host here at the Ideal Practice Podcast. How are you? Did you think I ran away? Did you think I left the country? I will say the thought has occurred to me, but no, I haven't. I'm here. I did take a bit of a midwinter break that ended up being a few weeks longer than I had planned. And that's actually not a bad thing. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But I am excited about being back here with you and getting back into the swing of things. It's so odd how that feels. Have you ever taken any real time off of work, like where you're out for not just a weekend or even a week or two, but maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, a month? I have done that in the past, but I will say this is the first time I've taken this kind of a break from the podcast. If you've been with me for a while, you know I have been producing these episodes weekly, pretty steady for 2.5 years now, getting close to 3. And with a break of a week or two here and there, it's been pretty consistent. And this was a real break. And I, you know what? I'm not really sorry that I did that, because it ended up, I think it was a break that I needed. And hopefully you guys didn't mind it either, and I'm so grateful that you are still here with me. I've got so many cool things I want to talk to you about. I want to start off I just want to highlight or respond to a message that one of you sent me. So if you have looked at the podcast page for this on your app or wherever you are following podcasts, there is a link you can click on where you can send me a text message. It's called Fan Mail, which cracks me up a little bit, honestly. But the way that works is when you click on that and you type a message, I get that. But apparently, I didn't know this, there's no direct way for me to respond to you. It comes through the app where the podcast is hosted. And the only real way I can respond to you is by speaking here to you on the podcast, which I am quite happy to do. If you send me something and you want a direct personal reply, you got to find a way to send me your email address, y'all. You can do it through the fan mail. Just make sure you include it in your text. I promise I won't share it here. Or you can always send me a personal email, which is just wendy@wendypittsreeves.com. That's also fine. But I did get a message from Angela. And Angela, if you hear this, I want you to know I haven't been ignoring you. It just took me a while to figure out that there was no way to reach out to you. So I wanted to thank you for sending me your message. Angela is a massage therapist who is currently working at a clinic in her town, but she is eager to open up her own space later on in the year, which is always, isn't that just the best thing in the world? When you have made some kind of a decision and you're like, you know what? I don't even know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Before this year is up, I am going to have my own thing going. That's where Angela is. And Angela, I don't know why. Somehow I was thinking that you were in Canada. I have Calgary in my mind, but I don't know that that's true. I'm not even sure where I got that because I'm not seeing that in your message. But somewhere along the way, I got the idea that you were in Canada. Anyway, you told me that you were doing all the things to get things ready, right? Getting your website going, ready to start growing your own mailing list, your client base, learning how to do a little bit of marketing, figuring out who you want to serve. And yeah, there's a lot to that. And I don't blame you a bit if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It can feel like there is a lot to do at the beginning, isn't it? I know. And it's very common that you might feel like you don't know where to focus or what to prioritize or what do I do first. You might also be like, do I want to do a great big thing or do I want to do a little thing, which you said in your note? And I get that too. I do have a specific suggestion I'm going to make for you, and I'll do that at the end of this episode. What I want to say to you right this minute is you don't have to have it all figured out. You do not have to have it all figured out. And guys, all of you who are thinking about starting a practice or a business of your own of any kind, you do not have to have it all figured out. When you're planning a big trip, if I'm in North Carolina, I'm going to California, I don't have to see the road all the way. I just have to kind of have a general idea of where I'm going. And yeah, I need a plan. That's true. But all I really need to see is the first little bit down the highway, right? I just need to know where the next town is I'm going to get to, and then from there. So don't make this harder than it has to be, okay? So thank you, Angela, for reaching out to me, and I'm so glad you've been enjoying the podcast, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. All right, so let's talk about what the heck has been going on. Well, the last time you heard from me was back at the holidays, right? In between Christmas and New Year's. That is such a sort of a pregnant pause to me. I talked to you about what I call the great in-between, and that is totally how I see that period of time. I actually feel like that's something that happens to us off and on throughout our lives and throughout our careers. But definitely that's where I was the last time I spoke to you. Well, at the time I posted that, I was expecting actually not to take any break. I thought I might miss a week, but really I was kind of planning to just keep right on going. I had a team member who was going to take some much needed time off for the holiday, which I was excited about for her. And I was totally up for just I've got enough systems in place and enough help. I could keep going. But I wanted to put some real thought into where I want to take us this year here on the podcast. And I really wanted to give that some time and attention. And at the same time, I also, some of you may remember back in December, I led my annual planning workshop. It's called On Purpose. This year was On Purpose 2025, and it's all about how to plan your year and live this year with more intention and clarity rather than just winging it as we all tend to do. Well, I not only led that workshop in December, but I went through the process that I teach you. I did that myself afterwards. And essentially, in a nutshell, between trying to figure out what do I really want to do with the podcast this year and what the heck am I doing with my own practice, my own business, and the rest of my life, well, I needed some time with that. And in January, it was kind of nuts. I had some medical things I needed to attend to, nothing bad, just kind of routine stuff that needed attention that all required some time. Here at home, we had a couple of important things happening. You all know, if you've been with me for a while, that I've had some really big changes going on with my extended family. My mom, she's got lots of sort of more complicated things I've got to deal with in terms of my dad's estate and all their property and, that kind of stuff I've got to help with. That's a challenge in its own. It has nothing to do with this podcast, but it takes up a lot of space in my head. And at the same time, I am delighted to share that my amazing wife, Anne, landed a position. She got a contract to serve in a really beautiful way to help with some of the disaster recovery that's going on in North Carolina. It's an important job. It's a big one. And she is making contact with people literally all over Western North Carolina and is already doing a world of good over there. It has been such a treat to watch that unfold. And I also wanted to be a little bit more present and kind of keep things going here at home so she could do that because there's a lot to it. A lot of folks still needing a lot of help over there. So between all of that, thinking, planning, breathing, being present for my mom, being present for my wife, I just kind of needed to take a bit of a breather. And so I let a week pass. And then I let a second week pass. And you know what? It's fine because one of the things that I am trying to do for myself that I'm going to share with you because I think some of you can probably relate to this. I am by nature, y'all, I am a worker bee. I am a generator in human design. If you know anything about that, then you know that we like working. I get teased about this a lot from my friends. And my default way of approaching life is to push through pretty much everything all the time. It's very hard for me to slow down, take it easy, or just let things kind of evolve a little bit. My tendency is to plan and push. And that's not a bad thing at all. That is exactly how I've been able to do a lot of the things I've been able to do. But sometimes it's important to go with the flow a little bit. And precisely because the last couple of years have been so challenging for me personally, I am very conscious, more conscious than I have ever been, of how important it is to maintain some kind of life balance. Or as I heard a speaker say one time, it's a bit of a teeter-totter. Sometimes you're up and you're flowing with sometimes you're on the ground and you're resting, whatever, however you think of it. But I really do want life to be a little bit easier, and I want to be kinder and more compassionate with myself, because when I'm in a good place, I'm so much better for everybody else. So rather than beat myself up for not meeting the schedule that I had put out, I just said, okay, this is what we're going to do for a little while, and I'll get back to it in a few weeks. And so here we are. In the time that I've been away from you, not only have I done some serious thinking, I've also done some resting. I've also been taking care of clients in a different way. I hosted my first live retreat in a very long time. I used to do retreats all the time back before the pandemic. I hosted a retreat for my counseling clients. You all know that I have a support group, for lack of a better word, call it a guided, facilitated group for women leaders at midlife. It's called Accomplished. I love that group so much. And they've been working with me virtually for almost a year, and I decided it was time to get them together. And so we held a live in-person retreat in January, which was freaking over the top awesome. I was on a high for 2 days. I think they were exhausted. But it was fine. It was good tired. As a friend of mine said, I'm tired, but it's a good tired. Yeah, it was really beautiful. So I did that in January as well. So in the middle of all that, there's a few changes that I have become aware of. And one of them is I really don't want to hustle so hard. I've been doing that for literally 30 years. And it's not because I'm tired. It's because I am realigning my priorities. I want to be here with you guys. I love doing this podcast so much. I am thoroughly enjoying and am sort of reinvigorated by the latest evolution of my psych practice. Y'all know I've been a practicing psychotherapist for decades, and as it has always been, that practice has changed over time. It happens all the time. It's happened throughout my professional career, and it will happen to you too. Angela, I'm thinking about you here. This is another example of why you can't have it all figured out at the beginning, because whatever you figure out at the beginning, you're going to change anyway. So this is where I am now in my counseling practice and also in my work here. I just love working with these dynamic women they are just a force. They are a force. And sometimes they know it, but not always. Sometimes they don't, but they see it once we start working together. And the joy of watching these women step into their power, own their authority, learn how to take better care of themselves, and realize that they are not alone in the world and that there are people they can trust, and that when I bring them all together, they can lean on each other. It is so, so, so powerful. And so I am genuinely enjoying that. So out of an abundance of caution, y'all, here's the news flash. I actually had decided back in sometime later in the fall that I was going to let my actual coaching practice kind of be dormant. Let's put it that way. Just kind of rest for a while. I was letting my active coaching clients kind of wind down as they were finishing up their work for the year. You may or may not notice I have not been actively promoting those services. I've not been doing any big launches because I honestly do not have the bandwidth to do that. That's been part of my awareness. And out of an abundance of caution and a fierce determination to tend to what matters most and to protect my energy, I decided, you know what? I'm going to focus on my counseling practice. I'm going to focus on the podcast and serving you guys here. And I'm going to take care of my family. And I'm not going to worry so much about coaching. That's how it is. And the minute I wrapped up with my last coaching clients, you guys started reaching out to me. It was so funny. I wasn't even asking for that, promoting anything here. But I began hearing from you. Hey, Wendy, I've got this really amazing practice going on and it's about to drive me crazy. Or, hey, Wendy, I've got this cool opportunity, but I don't know how to manage it. Or, hey, Wendy, success is happening, but it is happening fast. Now what the heck do I do? Like, you are reaching out to me, and how can I say no to you? I can't. But I can change the way I do things in a way that I make sure that I am here for you without setting myself up. So here's what I'm doing, y'all. Here's what I'm doing. If you know this, I'm a big fan of packages. I have lots of different programs I have run. I have created courses. I'm not doing any of that right now. All I'm going to say to you is if you need some coaching with your practice and you want some support, if you and I have worked together in the past 2 years, just reach out to me. I'm going to be offering coaching on a simple hourly basis. If I have not worked with you for 2 years or longer, like if we worked together a while back and it's been a while, or if you are brand new to me, I am going to require that we start off with a quick start consult because that gives me a really solid and fairly easy overview of where you are right now and where you might need to focus. But other than that, I am just going to offer coaching on an hourly basis. So reach out to me privately if you want to know more about that. But it's simple, really, really simple. So yeah, I'm still available, but I'm doing it easy. So let me know if you're interested in that. By all means, you can always reach me through my direct email. Now, before I did want to speak about a little bit, if you'll bear with me, I want to talk about energy a little bit more. So not only have I taken some time to rest and to get more clear about where I'm going, I'm also thinking about this podcast and where I want us to go. Throughout this year, I'm going to be bringing you more interviews. We have some great guests lined up. I love talking to these folks because I learned so much from them. And I also feel like I have a gift for pulling out what they have to share with you that I know you're going to need. So we've got some really good stuff coming up. We are going to be, as always, of course, talking about some of the strategies that go with the 7 pillars of an ideal practice. Still going to be doing that. In fact, over the next few weeks, I'm going to give you a bit of a refresher about what those pillars are and how I think about your practice as a whole. But we're also going to be talking about mindset issues, imposter syndrome, setting better boundaries, taking better care of yourself, and how you can manage your energy and still do this exciting business, still run this practice that you love so much, but do it without losing yourself along the way. Because in the world we are all living in, y'all, there is a real danger that could happen. So it's striking to me. At the time I'm recording this, it is in early February. You all know that here in the U.S., the last couple of weeks have been challenging. Doesn't begin to speak to it, but it strikes me how sort of the chaos and challenges I feel like I've been coping with for the last year or two feels like it's almost been preparing me for this in a way, because I feel like all of us, especially those of you who are in healing arts, more than ever, we have to hold our center. We have to maintain an internal sense of calm, an internal sense of well-being. We have to be especially mindful about where we put our energy and our focus. And I really want to call you to keep checking in with yourself. Make sure that you are tuning in to what matters most to you. And I know that's complicated because you've got a lot on your plate. You may have family you've got to tend to, you've got a practice to tend to, you've got yourself to tend to, and like many of us, there are things going on in our communities that we also want to be a part of. Just be careful, my friend. Don't get out over your skis. Don't get too far ahead. Take it a little at a time and keep checking in with yourself. I want to share just a little story, if I can, with you about something that has happened just in the last few days for myself. I personally am very careful about what I say publicly about anything that's going on in the country politically. And I do that for lots of reasons, y'all. But I have been so distressed at some of what I've been hearing lately that I posted something on Facebook the other day. I was heartbroken. I felt a lot of grief about some of the impacts of some of the policies that are being put into place lately. And I couldn't sleep one night because I kept thinking about the suffering that I know is going on in lots of different places. And so I made a little post about that on Facebook. And wow, okay. Let's just say that post got things going a little bit. Not in a bad way. The best part about this experience was that I have been astonished and actually quite touched by the outpouring of positive support, both for me personally and among and between those who were on that thread. Now, I did not share this publicly. I shared it just among my friends group, but my friends group is, I don't know, well over 1,000 people. This was literally people from every thread of my life. Former clients, former colleagues, people I was in leadership programs with, people I have known from masterminds, people, just personal friends. I mean, it was kind of crazy. And in the middle of the discussion that ensued, there was someone who took what I would describe as an antagonistic tone, perhaps unintentionally, but it was. And there was some tension, as there is, right? And y'all, I'm a 9 on the Enneagram. I don't do conflict very well. I have to really work at it. But I knew every single person on this thread. I mean, we were having 30 and 40 comments in response to some of these reactions. And it was right at the edge and slightly over the edge a few places into what felt disrespectful to me. And the conflict avoider in me just wanted to take the whole thing down. But I didn't. And I shared with them that I wanted to, but I wasn't going to. And I just kept saying to everyone on the thread, everybody here I know personally. Everybody here is important to me. I know you to be a kind person, so please be thoughtful about how you are saying things. I know you to be well-intentioned. Just all I ask is that you treat each other with decency. I'm not asking people to modify their points of view. I'm just asking people to, share your truth. Speak from your heart. By all means, say what you really feel. But remember that everybody here I know and everybody here I care about. And I want to say that they have done that. And the whole thing has sort of eased off a little bit now. But there were 2 or 3 days there when it was hard for me personally. But golly, you know what? It turned out all right. And I have reached out directly to the person that was posting things that were honestly fairly difficult. And we are setting up a private call to talk things through because I want to hear that person's point of view. Just because I want to understand. That's it. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just saying my point to you is this was an example to me of what we can do as healers. We can hold space for other people and we can call out the best in other people. And we have to do it while also tuning into our own self. So I just want to share that in case that gives any of you any thoughts about how to navigate the waters that we are in. I also want to encourage you to be careful, or not be careful, lean into your rituals that ground you. Make sure you're getting enough loving touch. Make sure that you are creating space of quiet in your life where you can slow your brain down a little bit. Stay off your screens for a while, y'all. Stay off your screens. Be very intentional about when you tune in and when you don't. Make sure you are finding some way to breathe fresh air and touch something that grows. Get yourself outside, no matter what the weather's like where you are. Find a way to get outside. If you have some kind of a spiritual practice that has been a source of nurture for you, this is a really good time to tune back into that. I'm going to see if I can't do something physical. I'm going to try to look into some strength training, which is not my forte, because I feel like I need to take better care physically as a way of supporting my energy as well. Whatever that looks like for you, do that. And then hang out with me. In the coming weeks, we're going to do some foundational work just to kind of remind us of where we are. And then we're going to start bringing in some guests, and I think you're going to love it. So we'll get through this together, y'all. Okay? Now, before I wrap this up, let me go back to Angela. Sweetheart, you asked me in your message if setting up a quick start consult with me could help you sort of figure out what to do first, right? In terms of getting prepared for launching your own program, your own show. And not your own show. I always say you're the CEO of your own show. That's where that came from. But your own practice. And yes, of course that would help. Absolutely would help. I will tell you, people are often surprised at how much we get done in 90 minutes or so that we do that. Because I have a little homework I want you to do up front to kind of help you get clear about what you're looking for. And that will help me. And we hit the ground running. And we will get some work done. So yes, 100% that would help you. But what I want to say to you right now, where I would start is with pillar 1, because this is an easy one to ignore. The first pillar of the 7 pillars of an ideal practice is to get super clear about your purpose in the world and the purpose of your business. Not just the purpose of your business for the world and your clients, but also the purpose of a practice for you. Why do you even want to do this? You might think, but it's very interesting to see how much trouble folks have when I kind of challenge them to get crystal clear about this. And to help you, Angela, specifically, I want to tell you, I've got a little worksheet. It's called the Quick Purpose Clarifier. It's a worksheet that is from the first module of my Evolve Mastermind, which was a mastermind and a course that I developed year before last, honestly. I pulled that out, and I think that will help you. If you will send me an email, I will send that to you. And guys, those of you who are listening, if you want this, I'm happy to send it to you too. I'm not going to post it on the website because it is quite specific to this practice. But if you'll send me an email to wendy@wendypittsreeves.com and just put in the subject line, purpose, and I will send you this little worksheet. Okay, I'll send it to you directly. Because knowing what you want your business to do for you as well as your clients is the foundation for a lot of things that come after that. And for the rest of you, everybody, please tend to your well-being, my friend, and stay with me. We're going to get through all this together, and we're going to be just fine. Love you all so much. That's what I've got for you today. Eager to get started and get back into things. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great week. And I will actually see you next week, right here on the Ideal Practice Podcast. Bye now. Hey, y'all. If this program has become important to you, if Ideal Practice matters, it would mean so much to me if you'd be willing to take just a minute to do one or two of the following things. First of all, would you follow or subscribe to the show here at Ideal Practice? Following me helps you because you'll never miss an episode, but it helps me as well for all kinds of reasons. To do that, all you have to do is go to the show page for Ideal Practice on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. There, just click on the plus sign that you'll usually find in the top right-hand corner, or click on the word follow that you're going to find somewhere there on that page. Of all the things, this really is the most important thing you can do for the podcast itself. While you're there, it would be extra special if you would be willing to give me a 5-star rating, and even better than that, a review with your own words. Your words matter. And when you write what you feel, what you think, you uplift and encourage others. And I love that. If you want to go a step further than that, take your favorite episode or two, one of the ones that has meant a lot to you, and share it with a friend. Could you do one or two of those things for me? I promise I will love you forever. You guys matter to me, and I value your support more than I can possibly say. Thank you, sweet friend, for anything you can do to help me out and support the show. I'll see you again soon.